Okay. So, good evening, dear members. Now, first of all, today's seminar, cybersecurity, in this post-pandemic era, when digitalization has scaled up, the importance of this cybersecurity has gone up. So now we have a webinar on that on the same, and of course, cybersecurity is the practice of this protecting systems, networks, and programs from these digital attacks. And I do understand that a number of platforms from payment gateways to broking has reported a spate of this customer data breaches and frauds last few months. The latest being Policy Bazaar, an Indian insurance aggregator and a financial technology company. Lots of financial technology company are booming up. And this Policy Bazaar in its stock exchange filing has admitted that it was hit by a cyber security incident last week. And around, I think, around 9 million customers' data has been exposed, I understand. And I was just reading an article in which this one cybersecurity company, CyberX or something, was stating that the data that was exposed includes this customer's photo, full name, date of birth, complete residential address, email address, mobile company, PAN number, policy details, including nominee details and things like that, because for Policy Bazaar want to know, bank account statements, income tax returns, passports, visa, records of country exit and entry, Aadhaar cards. Now, if you just look into these data, all this data that has been exposed, I must point out that most of our CEO officers do have this data of our clients. In fact, most of it and even more, and even confidential data also. So it's a need for us, because during this post-pandemic era, we had all converted our office into systems in which online systems, and we had converted most of our offices into e-offices. So in fact, each and every offices of ours, it's a mandate thing that we should be cyber savvy, tech savvy. And each of our organizations need to have this defensive technology and adopt defensive mechanisms. Even after, I must understand that even after these defensive mechanisms or adopting these mechanisms, vulnerabilities and threats will be there, and we need to have systems in place so that we can respond in mitigating quickly to the damages that can be caused by these threats. So now today's webinar is being handled by Information Sharing and Analysis Center, ISAC, which is India's leading non-profit cybersecurity foundation. ISAC, I understand, was formed after these Mumbai attacks to improve information sharing and cybersecurity capacity building. And ISAC, I understand, has a public-private partnership with this Ministry of Education, ACTE under NEET, and MOD, Ministry of Defense, Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, and Rashtriya Raksha University. And it manages the National Security Database Program that empanels the best security professionals in India for advancing and protecting this Indian cyberspace. So it's focused on programs and products that enhance the cybersecurity awareness, knowledge, capacity for the critical information infrastructures and safety of women and girls. Now, ISAC, it also conducts various cybersecurity courses. I must tell that it does conduct these courses in foundation, technical, and techno-managerial levels. And it's a good thing that we should all look into the same. Now, today's webinar is being dealt with a representative of ISAC and Mr. Sri Shankar Gurujalam, and he is one of the recognized persons who can deal with cybersecurity. So I do, on behalf of the branch, I do welcome Mr. Sri Shankar Gurujalam to this webinar. Now I also welcome other representatives of ISAC, Mrs. Shiba Shivakumar, coordinator of ISAC, and Wing Commander K. Venugopal is the Global Director of Operations of ISAC to this webinar. Now, I also welcome other attendees. And before closing out, I have two announcements to make. One is I do take this occasion to remind the members of the Jwala, which is scheduled on August 20th, which is an program that is being organized with the Women Committee and the Women Club of Thrissur and the Thrissur branch. And also Independence Day, the 76th Independence Day is around the corner, and the branch will be celebrating the Independence Day by hoisting the flag at 8:30 a.m. at the branch premises. So I request everyone to join for the 76th Independence Day celebrations. Before giving the space to the speaker, I would like to call upon FICASA chairman, C. Anup P. Francis, to introduce him. Anup.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, one and all. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker of the day, Mr. Sri Shankar. He is highly experienced cybersecurity professional and former CISO of many companies and has keen interest in prevention of cyber crimes involving children. He is an industry leader in space of cybersecurity with experience of nearly 3 decades as a Chief Information Security Officer with many reputed companies. He has kept them safe from cyber attacks by designing and operating security controls. He has many international certifications to his credit. He is NSC certified cybercrime intervention officer and a scholar. His passion includes travel on bikes, singing, and painting. With these words, I'm inviting our speaker for the session. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I consider this a privilege. This is one community which is a very prized community in an economy, right? I won't be exaggerating if I say that, because I know how I value my CA. So I know what you are for the country, managing many, many big accounts. So let me share my screen. I will take you through. Okay, before that, I think I would want to, before I throw my slides open, I know there are about 30 odd people, so it's a small group. I would want you to just raise your hands, make it as interactive as possible, because afternoons are quite challenging, right? Because some input to the stomach reduces the blood supply to the head. So when you interact, and not just that, this is a remote. I really can't know who is sleeping. I think so. Besides that, that was just for the lighter vein. When you see something on the screen, and if you have a question, or if you have a comment to make, or maybe you want to share some of those experiences that you've had, it may trigger in your brain, because I think if we don't address that, and if you push it under the carpet, you may miss out. And it's the most effective way of understanding the concepts from cybersecurity to your real life. So please feel free to stop me and kind of say, hey, can we go back to the previous slide? I think this is what you said. It doesn't sound good to me, or I have a different experience, or maybe I don't know if it really makes sense or not. At this point, something triggered and I want to share an incident. You're welcome, right? Because that way, whatever we are here today, the objective will be accomplished very effectively. And that's what I believe in. And that's what we have experienced while dealing with professionals. So I'm sure most of you, the many CAs I know personally who have ISACA certification, they get CISA stamped, and they do information security audits. So you are much closer to the subject than many other streams, right? So I would place that request. So I hope that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So with that, I will share my screen, and let's go ahead with the next 1.5 hours or so, right? So this is, I mean, I know we are specifically looking for. Is my screen visible?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
visible, visible.
Right. So, so we'll start with this question: is cyber technology, is it a boon or a bane? Right? Obviously, I think that's a stupid question to ask. It is a boon. Why? Because we have so many of them, right? You know, it's a friend in need. It gives you anything that you need. You don't have a friend, it'll give you a friend. You don't know something, it'll throw open that particular thing. You don't even have to prescribe to your subscribe to your newspapers. It'll give you all the information. You don't have to wait for the midnight print. It'll give you as and when things happen, right? The recent, you know, the scam or the attack that the Policy Bazaar went through, it would have gone through so many iterations. But as and when you know, the incident is being investigated, it's coming to you right away. It doesn't even have to wait for a few hours. It comes in minutes. So it's fabulous, and it gives you guidance. It gives you access. Many people are taking internet gurus for improving their you know, business, so on and so forth. And yeah, it's a faster, it's efficient helper, and the prices have gone down. So that's, you know, it's even better. It's got a real big access to even the rural areas. It's gateway to gain knowledge, right? Nobody is you know, shy of learning anything today, which was the case just about 8-9 years back. But today everybody is learning everything, right? It brings people closer. International boundaries, travel are no longer a constraint. Pick up your ID, put it on the portal, and we are on. I don't have to travel to Thrissur. I'm having so many chartered accountants with whom I'm talking today. So it is definitely a boon. And you all know this much better than anybody else. It enhances business, its ease of conducting business, the pace of life, which is going so fast, is supported by this. So it is definitely a boon. But wait a minute, there are hazards as well. What are the hazards? It's a perennial distractor. You know, before talking anything about it, I would like to highlight on this point, because how many of you have started off browsing on your Facebook and you jump and you jump and you jump and you jump, and the stupid clock suddenly goes over 2 hours? Has it happened with anybody here? Yeah. You can unmute and speak and even
It
put your
happens
comments.
always.
Yeah. LinkedIn. Some people just scroll through and something interesting, and then that leads you to something, that leads you to something. Twitter, you open and it takes away your half an hour. Instagram. Now, it's only when you sit with that intention of going over that social media that you are sucked into it. But there are other people. I'll talk about it a little later. But the thing is, you are drawn to the device, the application, and the social media. Some people are having this addiction. They don't know it is addiction. Whether there is anything important or not, they have to check their email. Why? Are you expecting something? Is something burning? No. The device has already hooked you on. And that perennial distraction is going to attack at a very personal level. We'll talk a little bit more about it. Privacy intrusion, you know, you're listing a whole lot of things that people lost during their data breach, right? And how many of them even know that they have given all this information to Policy Bazaar? Have they read the terms and conditions? It'll all be in tiny, tiny, tiny things. And even if they put in big fonts, people just accept the terms and conditions and move on. So people are having a license to steal, and that's how it appears. And there is no end to it. Was there anything that you missed out at all in your opening remark? Right? I think people have lost everything. That 9 million people, is it only 9 million? We don't know. But how many more have shared their data with Policy Bazaar directly or indirectly, and the so-called collaborative environment, everybody's information is out. And where is it all available? Oh yeah, I can show you some sites. Very interesting. You can buy it for 25 rupees to 2,500 rupees, depending on the weight of the person. So potential misguidance, I think the misinformation, disinformation campaigns, they rule the world today. You know, a question to you: what are the one or two things that rule the world? Can anybody share? You can just unmute and say, what are the one or two things that decides the fate of our world that we live in? Anybody can just take a shape, take a hit at it.
Or you can post in your chat box also.
Oh
Data.
yeah, data. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Something more powerful than data? Some people say weapons, weapons of mass destruction. Some people say, you know, the religion. But anybody want to share anything? No one sharing? Okay,
I'm
let
not
me
sure.
just.
Sumesh, do the participants have chat access? Ajit?
Yeah. The participants has chat access.
Yeah,
Definitely. Participants,
yeah.
can we utilize that chat me
Please use the chat box
to
and
chat?
so that you can interact. You may not want to speak or muted, but you
Oh
can use
yeah,
the chat box. Yeah, okay.
yeah. So we have some chats coming in. So I think just to, in the interest of time, there are two things according to me which rule the world. One is the lobby, and second one is the narrative. Lobby forms the narrative and they pump it up. They rule the world. Just look at it. And both these are completely digital driven, and they have a better penetration. So your lobby doesn't have to sit in US, doesn't have to sit in any other specific place, but they can go anywhere else. Twitter is open, Facebook is open. So the lobby and narratives are very, very powerful, and they are using the technology today. So they are your biggest weapons. They are much worse than the weapons of mass destruction, right? And that's why I call it a weapon on social life. And there is a peer pressure for youngsters and even in professionals, right? Somebody who's in a corporate doesn't use his phone to the extent his colleagues use, maybe even bullied. And there is a crime on legitimate users, and that is the biggest challenge of all, right? So these are some of the cyber technology. And just look at this. We were somewhere down the line, and it was this technology which has brought us up the chain, right? We were eighth, ninth, whatever, some years back. We have grown in our size. We have improved our economic ranking, right? You know more than anybody else. And it's predicted that 2025, we will be the fifth largest economy. Today, we are sixth. And by 2030, we will be one of the top three. This is what experts are saying. So what's the relevance? Why are we suddenly talking about economic status of India? There are lots of attacks. Why are these attacks suddenly increasing in the last 2 years? Apparently, nobody is attacking Sri Lanka or Pakistan as much as they attack India. It's very simple. These are our friends in the world who are interested in looking at maintaining their ranking, their allies ranking. So it's not just this 4 or 5 who are ahead of us, but there are many more who are allies of these countries which have stepped up their attack. So the border security force will do their bit to prevent infiltration, to prevent our enemies come in. What can you do with cyber? There is no border there. With so many countries, US, I mean, there has been never a big deal about some US citizen trying to infiltrate into India. But today he can attempt, not just with some 8 months planning in the next 2 hours. So that is the next warfare. That's what is the importance. And you would have seen what is happening in Ukraine. You would have seen what's happening with Russia. So many NATO allies are down today. Many warfares. It's all this new cyber warfare. And that's the future we are staring at. And in this whole warfare, if we are giving an excuse, oh, I don't think I need to know much about it. I need to just know about my smartphone and I will put an antivirus on it. You're nowhere, right? Tomorrow you could be compromised. Worst thing is, even if you don't exercise your own things, right? And you say, no problem, I'm an insignificant person in this world. But you have one powerful server for your organization. And if that is compromised by your black hat, he will attack others by using your infrastructure. And that is a bigger threat. So ignorance, feigning ignorance, or claiming yourself to be small or somebody who can be easily discounted in the cyberspace is no longer a reason, but you have to have basic minimum knowledge. So the question that I'm usually asked is, I'm a chartered accountant, I'm a doctor, I am an engineer who is building ships. Why would I need cybersecurity? You are there to take care. I will build ships, you take care of cybersecurity. No, it doesn't work that way. Everybody has to know. And that's the challenge. That's why this is a growing menace. I hope I gave a elaborate view of the premise that we are standing on and why, so that you are mentioning this earlier in your opening remark, right? I think this is important because of this context. So moving on, the impact of digitization, right? I gave you a glimpse of how people get addicted with their devices. Today, the relationships, people talk to one another, right? Um, I do a lot of interviews when people come on their social media. We talk to them. They speak so well. Call them to office, and they are so uncomfortable in the physical meeting. We start wondering, this guy was so confident. What happened to him? Just that they are so comfortable with the digital media, they're not so comfortable in the real life. They have stopped connecting to human beings. That is one of the impacts. Leisure activities, we would go and play golf or play street cricket or go for a swim or whatever. Today, so many games are there to entertain us. Hijacked our lives, hijacked our entertainment. Not many are visiting PVRs or the other movie theaters. Anyway, a couple of days later, it comes on Netflix. Let me watch it. They watch movies at the comfort of their couch. So leisure has been redefined. At least if they wake up and go walk for about 100 meters, some good will happen to their body, but they are denying that to their body as well. Communication in person, I just said this, the interpersonal relationships are coming down. The digital relationships are going out, so much so that people would want to even talk to somebody who's imaginary, I say, because you never know who's there on the other side of the chat when you're on a public chat portal. It may be even said that, okay, I'm Anup Francis, but I believe. And it may be somebody who's spoofing him. And when I say, Anup Francis, you made this promise to me. Where is it? I said, okay, I never chatted with you. Who are you? Then I figure out it is somebody who's spoofing him. It all the time happens, right? Worse, crime on children. Right? And then learning ways have changed. Everybody would go to YouTube today. Nobody is going back to libraries. Nobody has a time to read a book. And even if they read a book, they'll do it on their Kindle. So much it has changed. And every year, notice yourself, this is true for everybody. Take your grandmother or grandparents, if you have your parents, your kids, your neighbors' kids. Look at them. Constant increase of their digital consumption. So it's a good breeding ground for crimes as well, because more and more make their life based on digital media, the crimes also increase. And that's another increasing landscape. So this is our life today. Let me just bring out the next very critical aspect. Some of you may be wondering, why do we need this? Everybody needs this. And I think it is very, very important. Before we talk of some of the technical controls and how to safeguard ourselves, we must understand not many of us know that we are all addicts. Some of you may take an objection on this. If you have, please do raise questions. We can have a conversation around it. But I want to assert my point that we all are addicts. There are 3 levels of smartphone usages, and I would call it even the novice, which is the basic usage, is also an addict, because somewhere, if that is taken away from him, he will be very uncomfortable. What is a novice? A novice is somebody who just uses his phone for the purpose that it is built for, which is what? You make a call, you send messages, or you use an app here and there. Like today, you have to have your app to work, to order your groceries. Yeah, please do, because what did you do when you were locked up in your pandemic response period? It is these apps which saved you. So that's become a way of life. But there are people, chronic addicts, if they don't wake up for looking for the goodies given by Amazon, their day will not start. Whether they need something or not, they need to buy. They become compulsive buyers. Of course, that will come to that point. But everybody, even in the novice zone, has some level of addiction. And that's where it gradually increases. So smartphone novice, is it bad? No, I'm not saying stop using phones. You have to use your phone, but you have to tell yourself, this is where I end my smartphone usage. This is what I need. And after that, I'm going to put the phone away. If you don't say that, you're already compromised. Just watch out for it, right? And next phone, the smartphone addiction level is called a smartphone mutant. That means the smartphone has made a mutant out of you. You were a human being, and today you are a smartphone mutant human being. This mutant behaves in a very absurd way. Somebody says, "This, do you know this app?" Oh, is it? Wait, he must be having his lunch. He puts his spoon down, or maybe even goes washes his hand, goes on to that app and picks it up. Do you know the new cryptocurrency? Oh yeah, okay. What about it? I have that. Oh, this is better. Is it? By evening, something is going to change. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. Go there, give your thing, put your Aadhaar card there and authenticate. Some OTP will come, feed in that. Some email will come, accept it. You need a reference. Okay, give your friend's reference. Call somebody up. You're busy. You're it's taken over you. It's really taken over you. I've seen many do this, and I'm quoting my own friends here, right? So this increasing usage, if you don't have a clue that it is taking over you, there will be a day where you are having 35 unused applications. Do you have any unused applications on your phone? If you ask, when was the last time you used one particular application? And if the answer is 2 months, you are a smartphone mutant. You are junking your smartphone by dumping lots of unwanted apps. And these apps are your unwanted guests. They are your spies. Why? We'll talk about that in a while. And curious attempts on websites. Oh, something new coming in. Oh, they only allow with a registration. Okay, let me give my phone, right? Give it. My Google. Okay. It says whether I'm in my 40s or 50s. Okay. What is it? They're not asking my date of birth. I can give. Asking address. Okay. They're asking my pin code is okay. This is okay. That is okay. That's okay. This is okay. And then everything is okay. So you give everything eventually. That mentality, you don't have a filter. The gradual increase of your digital usage, you become more familiar and you don't know when somebody will trick you or trip you. That is where a smartphone mutant is falling a prey today, right? And after some time, I'm talking to you, suddenly I'll say, okay, missing something. Now this is in my hand, I'm happy. This is what is happening. Whether this is used or not, I mean, there may be a use for it or not. I go and pick it, and that's a smartphone mutant. And next is a zombie. A zombie is somebody, the dictionary meaning is a zombie is somebody who a dead person revived by some voodoo practices, maybe some practice by some African guys or some people in Southeast Asia. They resurrect a dead body and the dead body is in their control. So they use that dead body like a remote control. They operate that dead body and make it do certain things which human beings normally cannot do. That's a zombie. So smartphone zombie is someone who doesn't know that he's become a victim of it and he just goes over. The device has completely consumed him. The technology has completely consumed him. That is the smartphone zombie. Nearly 1 in every 5 people across the globe is said to be a zombie. When they are browsing, if a child comes to show how beautiful the painting that it has done, they get irritated. Instead of appreciating, oh yeah, that's good. Okay, go back to phone. These smartphone zombies are the most vulnerable people for cyber attacks. In many of the areas where they have intellectual property to be secured, if the safekeepers or people who have access to that, if they find them to be zombies, they are curbing their access rights. This is happening in most of the places where they have classified information or information involving a lot of money, right? The financially data of financial importance, wherever there is a safekeep of that, they are taking away people who are zombies. This is what's happening, right? So instant gratification is one of those very common thing. They want it now. Their interpersonal relationships go down. They have their impatience, anxiety. These are all some things that are taking people away, which is where I think, maybe I'll request Venu, probably you need to talk about the CCIO program and why we do it, and probably that will be of interest for some of the people here. Maybe when you're talking about the ISAC programs and the way ISAC is structured, right? Wing Commander Venu, I'll request you to please make a note of it. That's about these smartphone zombies. So is the whole world walking towards becoming a zombie? Yeah, many will be happy, especially the hackers and black operators, right? The black hats and the hackers around the world, they'll be extremely happy. So we have to safeguard ourselves. Most importantly, we have to safeguard our next generation. That's very critical. So cybercrime is on rise. I'll not get into these. I so much wanted to talk about a few crimes, but I think I'll concentrate more on the smaller controls that we need to have, because that will be more interesting and pertinent for you. Many of you would have seen this, but what I want to highlight, I just taken some 6 of these in the last 18 months. What has happened is unimaginable, unthinkable. Why? Because earlier, burglars would come, break the door open, get into your house, steal, and go out. when the doors were kept in a strategic place where everybody could see, and you are not in a, in a colony or whatever, then thieves became smarter. They broke your windows. They found themselves comfortable in breaking the back door of somebody's house because that would give them more time, more free access, and they would also miss people's eyes while they were in their act. Similarly, in the cyberspace, ransomware has gone up. It's gone on a logarithmic scale. Why? Because everybody has literally locked their data centers, they've locked their infrastructures. So much is happening, and because of pandemic, everybody's working from home. So that's the weaker link they're seeing. That's the window that they're trying to explore to commit their crime. What happened was unimaginable. This we've never seen so many ransomwares happening in the last 20 years that the ransomware has been present for, right? What they do is they take the trusted channels. People who are using VPNs, it's very difficult to break the VPN, or it's difficult to break into your data center, but it's so easy to hack into your computer, your laptop. How? Just send. Amazon offers free bees for chartered accountants just for today. 12 o'clock it ends, and it sends you a link. All you need to do is make sure you are authenticating yourself as a CA. Give your certificate number and avail this benefit. This is specifically for chartered accountants. It's open for the next 6 hours, and they give a link. I'm sure 90% of the CS will click on it. You may not fall for the entire thing, but at least you click on the link that they send you just to check. That's it. That's enough. It'll download a malware. It'll put it on your laptop, and rest they will take care. You won't even know. And this is how your endpoints are. I can go on. I can give you multiple things. You open a browser. It looks like Axis Bank. You click on something, and you give your credentials, and it says, "Sorry, there is an error." And after some time, you see that it is not AXIS Bank. It is AX inverted comma, which is shift one. Your human eye cannot catch such finer things. Or Google G00GLE. Type these. Okay. It opens up some site. How many have fallen in? And if you see on your keyboard O and 0, there is hardly any distance. Right? And this is what hackers use to trip you. Right? Let me just show you my keyboard. I think you can just see this. You see this. There is a O here and there is a 0 here. They are just adjacent to each other. Somebody made it, right? And in their rush to type in, instead of just paying GOO, they'll say G00, and it takes you somewhere else. So these fine aspects, hackers are brilliant. Some of them, after investigating some crime, will just sit and say, "Brilliant guy. I only wish he could use it for a good purpose." But he's making money for himself, and he believes it is good. That's where the conflict comes in. So this is going further. The one of the largest power supply lines in US was cut. Why? Some hacker caught it. They didn't have gas. It was a winter time, and many of the places in east of US, which generally has sub-zero temperatures and horrible temperatures, and they cannot survive without gas because they need heaters for them to be alive. If you cut it off, many people may even die. And the ransomware guy knew it. He locked it and demanded a ransom, and they ended up paying, which of course they deny. But the thing is, truth is they paid. Right? SolarWinds. It's a network monitoring tool. Everybody would use it. Even Pentagon used it. What did they do? It's so strong. It's secure. security monitoring tool. Obviously, you can't breach it. So what they did, they hacked the company itself. They hacked the company itself and sent updates every week. And along with the updates, a bit of a malware went in every day for over 6 to 8 months. And one fine day, they took all these beautiful bits called flowers, they put it all like a mala and put it on the company's dead body. Very innovative. Nobody could see it coming. Nobody could see it coming. Intelligence across the world, cyber intelligence failed, is what some people say. But whatever people say, it was a brilliant move and it killed many businesses. Many bad actors became rich. Do you think these rich bad actors will keep quiet? They will never keep quiet. They will go invest more into this because they know money comes in. And US gave a law. Nobody can pay a ransom. They have to tell the governmental agencies. Even after that, how many paid? I have my records. I can't speak it openly, but it is on, right? So you have to have your backup ready. Ditch everything. You bring it from your backup, but some people backed up their data. I mean, they destroyed their data, brought it up from their backup. The malware was present even in their backup. How will you do? So you need your cybersecurity experts. You need to be aware yourself what is good and what is not good for you. That's about SolarWinds. I will not talk about other things, but just to tell you, it is on a steep increase. Every month we are having something or the other that is shocking us, right? This, in fact, the incident that you shared, Satish, I think that was very, very small one. There are bigger ones which they attempt to destabilize countries, governments. That is the scale of cyber war that we are in the middle of right now. Okay, and global breach statistics. I know you guys all love numbers, so I just thought it'll make better impact. This is a 2020 statistics. The statistics have not changed drastically, but more or less the proportions remain the same. Healthcare is the most haunted area. If any of your clients are healthcare guys, you must talk to them about cyber insurance. We'll talk about it at the end. I will leave it open. We should have a conversation about cyber insurance because that's what can save many of your clients. Healthcare is head. Information technology is next to that, and financial insurance, BFSI sector is after that, right? When I take BFSI sector, I know you. I don't need to explain it to you, but these are the top three. But is there anything else that they have left? Look at that. Everything else is also affected. But these are the ones which have been spending more on cybersecurity. Needless to explain that. And again, a statistics from 2020. Somebody who looks at it, wow, the blue bars are on a decline after 2020. After 2019, it's 2020 has declined. Yeah, it declined. But look at the purple line. The purple line indicates the data, the number of data that were breached and stolen, that has gone up. So what has happened here? Very important phenomena that you must understand. The incidents are coming down. Earlier, they were catching some individuals like me and you, and then they would be reporting it, and that is what they would call as an incident. But today, what is incident is, okay, how many thousands of people got affected? Oh, it's not a million, or it's just 0.1 million. Okay, that's a smaller incident. They are breaching large installations, large corporates, and the records are many. Like what one incident of that Policy Bazaar, 9 million is what they are saying, but I'm sure it's somewhere close to 15 to 16 million. If I have to think with what data I have seen in the last 1 or 2 days, but it may be much more. Who knows, right? And who goes and checks? Can you even check using Policy Bazaar, the backend Chinese peddling whatever is happening? We don't know how many more are compromised. I know I'm talking on a Zoom platform, which I normally not prefer, but Let me stop there. I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just doing my job of creating awareness. So this is how data breaches and incidents are happening. So Chris Wray, the director of FBI, last year around this time said, we never expected anything like this could happen in our lifetime, and we've never seen anything like this, and it's only going to get worse. That's what he said. It's true. So why there is a sudden surge of attacks? One is on India. We spoke from the Indian context. The overall world economy is changing with the cyber technology coming in and all that what you've been seeing, the NATO stance, the oil diplomacy, the pharma diplomacy, all that, right? So we have seen it all. The technology is constantly evolving and everybody would like to be ahead of the curve. So what's happening to the existing technology? If you don't put that bandage tomorrow, that wound is going to be your door for a virus to enter. I'm talking about cyber viruses. So constantly evolving technology requires a lot of vulnerabilities to be patched in on a daily basis, if not weekly, right? So, and the interfaces is a big challenge because you can say, I am very secure. I will not allow anybody to walk in here. You can never do that because you have to be connected with somebody else. If you are a chartered accountant, you need an access for your client to see what he or she is doing. If they don't have any data access for you, how will you even come to know? You will have to go sit in their thing, and you may be sitting in a different city in this current day. So they open up a port for you. How guaranteed are they that they are only opening it for you? They'll say, okay, I have a VPN. Okay, good. I have a two-factor authentication. You are safe to a great extent. But is that all it is? No. What if your laptop is compromised? You will go through the hacker will go through the secured channel of your VPN and go and hit your client. How will you explain that to your client? So it becomes very, very critical for you to know how to safeguard yourself. So the interface is a very big challenge and incoherent changes. The large corporate, they do a lot of things, right? Oh, this technology is bad. It's outdated. Let's bring in a new technology. And then they just change over. And then during the course of time, 30 attacks would have happened. If they don't take care, then they are compromised. Insufficient skills is a very, very big problem. Even if you say, no, I just clicked out of curiosity for just 3 seconds. And after that, I killed the window. That 3 seconds is more than enough. 30 would have come. Malwares. Underprepared remote working. Are you really aware? What are your risks? Have you consulted? Have you engaged someone to identify what are the risks that are there in your current day? And have you made an attempt to plug them in? Have you educated all your people not to click on links? Even after clicking on links, somebody says, oh, by mistake, I clicked it. Yes, it happens. It has happened in many, many big corporates, not just in India, across the world. Giving information to someone on the phone. And the biggest thing, I don't know how many of you have seen the media, Cisco, which holds about 12% market share in the entire world and the security world, right? In the IT infrastructure world, not security world. 12% owners of the world's technology, they are breached. It was a simple identity and access management breach of one of their employees. Cisco has a big job of explaining what happened with them to the whole world. And it's a warning. It's not to single out Cisco. I mean, there are many out there who may not be even aware they are breached. We don't know. So preparation is everything. And testing, keeping yourself up to date all the time, right? And increased dependence on remote working is a big bane, right? So these are all the reasons why the attacks are surging, right? But lack of knowledge levels better than hackers. This is the biggest killer. We are not spending as much time as hackers spend on attacking people. Good people like us, we cannot spend so much time, money, effort in understanding how to safeguard ourselves. That's what is happening today, and that is one of the major reasons why you have surging attack rates. What are the other dangers for which are professionals are being targeted, right? The misinformation campaigns. Most of the people are WhatsApp university addicts, not students. WhatsApp university addicts, Facebook university addicts, Instagram university addicts. Somebody says drink lemon early in the morning between 5:45 to 5:50 and then just leave it, and then I lost 8 kilos and show an oversized pant. That's it. That's a super hit. I will have 500 followers because of that. And every day I come up with such GAN, I will be having 5,000 people as my followers in 10 days. What happens? That has got a commercial value. That's how the world is working. But the misinformation campaigns are, orienting people, making them align to one thing, grooming them to be victims in one way or the other. Very powerful media. I was telling you about lobbying and narratives. A lot of them happening here. Hardly anybody says, I will not forward this message because I don't know. I have not checked whether it is authentic or not. Hardly any people. Honeypots targeting leaders and executives. He's been there for a long time, but the cyber honeypotting is much more easier because it need not be just the uh, invite from one lady criminal. It can be many things that we will be falling for, and honeypots are the this attack surface of honeypotting is much bigger today thanks to technology. Misuse of identities. Your identity can be stolen. And how do they steal it? You feed that information, they gather that. What you don't feed, they may even go and buy. If you hold a critical information of anybody, your client, here is where it's much scary for chartered accountants. When they know that a celebrity is your client and the celebrity is kind of uh, not accessible for them, guess whom they look for? They look for their doctors. They look for their uh, you know financiers or people who have their financial data. And that is one of the more important reasons why you should be securing yourself. You should be more secure than your clients. And you must insist that your clients follow the safety rules and safety norms that you lay down. For that, you must be aware in the first place. I'm sure many of you are, but you must be constantly pushing your own limits up, up, up every day so that you stay safe, you keep your clients safe. And state-sponsored fake companies, many companies from overseas, they just create some site and they start business and they create domains and they loot people. It's been happening. Uh, Data farming. I'm sure many of you would have been aware of it, but just to say, it's not FARMING, it is PHARMING, like phishing, right? Phishing, all of you would be aware. It is PHISHING for the digital phishing. They fish out people. So data farming is a process of diverting somebody. You're on a thing, browsing something, and suddenly some ad comes and you find it's clearing. Oh yeah, I know this Amazon, right? Okay, it's a thing. Click on it and you are diverted to something which looks like Amazon. You go give your data, your login or whatever, and it says, oh, sorry, error, try after some time, and you forget it. But what you would not have realized is you already given your credentials, and they, within few minutes, will try on your real Amazon account and they cheat you. So this is how they harvest credentials. This is how they harvest information. Somebody puts up, oh, I finally entered my 40s, and tons of other people say, happy birthday, you don't look 40, you're great, and 40 life begins. A lot of good wishes. You revealed your birth date, right? And it is not very difficult for a hacker to understand who are your connected people, who are your siblings, who are your parents. Even without you revealing your identity, your social media has. So this data farming and data harvesting, especially for professionals in their higher band, in late 40s or in their 50s, or the senior citizens, it's it's rampantly happening on a daily basis. I'm not exaggerating, because we keep working with people who are affected, so we know what we're talking. And I'm sure you also have seen in the media, right? But many things do not come on media because people feel, oh no, what will people think of me? So financial frauds, OTP scams, card theft, SIM card spoofing. Card spoofing is gone, but SIM card cloning is happening today, right? Not much. Government of India has done a lot of good work there, but is it done? Is it totally out of currency right now? No, it's pretty much there. Money laundering through cryptocurrencies, yeah, illegal purchases is on the rise. Luring spouse and children of professionals who are holding key to an organization, are managing the key accounts of leading personalities. Their children are targeted, their spouses are targeted. In one organization, uh, the lady was saying, oh, you are always busy. I was so wanting to be a chartered accountant, and I'm an accountant with so much of experience. I wish I can do something. And within a week, she gets a message both on her Facebook and on her WhatsApp. We have some openings. You work only for 4 hours. You work from home, and you're handsomely paid. And they paid her 32,000 rupees for some work. And 2.5 weeks later, my boss wants to talk to you. You've been doing great job. And she says, wow. The boss talks, we have never seen so sharp an individual doing so much work. Can you please work for 8 hours for us? We will double the salary. Only our demand is that you finish that work by end of that day. We'll pump in with a lot of work. They've been giving her so many things to play around in that Excel spreadsheet. And they also send her a laptop. Now 62,000, 64,000 rupees that she was paid was nothing. In 2.5 months, they successfully infiltrated into her Wi-Fi devices of every family member, and one of them was an important person. They made their way. This is what's happening in the world. So what are the preventive controls you need to act? I think I need to just give a pause here and see if there are any questions or concerns. Have we going at a pace which, or is everybody asleep? I don't know. Can we have some interaction and have some communication here so that I get to know people are really listening and what they're listening, or what would you like to listen? Let me pause for a few minutes.
I think participants can maybe put a yes or something on the chat box, or
Yeah,
raise their hands, something like that, to show that you're there physically at least.
or maybe we are just speaking to your Zoom recording alone.
Yeah, I think Shantan sir has.
Oh yeah.
Shantan sir, you are good to go. Shantuma sir, you can just unmute yourself.
No, I am just wanted to tell that I am just awake and kicking.
Oh yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Is the content going well with you? Is there something that we've missed grossly, or something that doesn't look realistic, or whatever? How does it sound for you?
Yeah, sounds very good and pragmatic.
Thank you. Thank you. That's some assurance. Thank you very much. Anybody else?
So I just can get on one thing that I just want to know is because as you know that after this demonetization and this digitalization of this economy of even after this pandemic, this UPI transaction has gone a bit high, even very high, in fact. And most of the business houses that we right now deal with, they're reporting that the cash handling has gone down a lot, and they are dealing with these UPI transactions. So
Yeah.
can you just throw some light on the issues that that the UPI can face? Or if we have lots of applications that we utilize for like this Google Pay, this Phone Pay, lots of these applications that even WhatsApp Pay is there, which relies on this UPI mechanism. So is there a security issue behind the same, or what are the things that we should look into while using these applications? Can you just throw some light on the same?
Great. I think I'll cover that a little later, but a
Oh,
pertinent point. Yeah, where there is a rise in technology, there is a rise in crime. That is given, right? So how it actually impacts, I think I have a couple of slides, how people actually, perform a breach on an individual. So I'll make it a point to cover, because I think one of the most common things is the QR code scams, right? When people are scanning and paying, and otherwise, UPI is a very well thought through thing. In fact, that's so proud that it's happening in our country, and we are leading the way. The leading economies in the world have all been speaking to Indian companies to get the UPI technology, how they do a cross platform money transfer, right? You don't need a SWIFT, but you can always transfer money to, of course, this is within a single currency. But, I'm sorry?
Video of the issue with your help, with your laptop, video of the issue to confirm the problem.
No, Shanta sir, I think he's speaking to someone else. Shanta sir, could you mute your?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, yeah. So I'll cover that so that the basic things are coming, and then if there are anything that I've left out, you can always.
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Cool. So then let's get back to these slides. I have a few more. The factors that contributing to change in security environment, right? The discovering of this vulnerability. We spoke about that. Changes in the device configuration, device malfunction, right? Something happens and you change the device, or the security control on that may not be working and you may not be aware of it. So it needs to be monitored all the time. And if you don't do that, that could lead to an attack. Then new communication, like I already gave an example where you have a VPN to your maybe a client. The client has a security requirement, you may not have it, or maybe it's incompatible. You have a control, he has a control, but since there's no compatibility, somebody may use your unsecure communication link and sneak into your clients or your device and cause a crime, right? Or the perpetrators are very smart, as I said. So third parties and partner networks, that's where many of these controls are compromised and attacked. So poor hygiene, your passwords, your naming convention, right? What you name your servers, how you name your segments also makes a lot of difference. And social engineering is on the rise. It's like never before, because naturally, when all your technological controls are all thriving well and they are doing their job, obviously it gives a bad complex to the hackers. So what they do, they just go after human beings, compromise them, like what they did in Cisco, right? Cisco, they kept bugging one particular employee and they finally breached his account, made him accept a multi-factor authentication request, and they launched their attack. And what happened next? That guy couldn't even imagine that they could have done with that. one simple act of making an employee accept a multi-factor authentication request. That's how Cisco is compromised today. You'll get to see, I think today already some things have been out. You will learn more of it as it comes on the media. So what are the industry best practices? Before the hacker gets to know what are your vulnerability, you should know your vulnerability. We have, I think Isaac is nurturing a couple of companies. One of the things I must mention is there's a thing called a company called Breachpoint. They do a phenomenal work. What they do is, it's not just somebody coming and doing some penetration testing. They really know your network. If you have subscribed for the services, they'll come and tell you, hey, stop all your work. There is some hole. Somebody will breach it. They'll come and tell you ahead of a breach. That's the kind of services they have. Very interesting, and it's doing very well. And also there is another product called Hyacinth. Hyacinth is a fantastic product. It tells you on a daily basis how many windows you have not closed in your environment today. So gives a very good insight into the problem. And this is all completely Indian made. You don't have to be worried about, oh, what if this country is known for breaching our trust. It's Indian made and thriving very well. So those are things, those who are interested may contact us. The thorough analysis of device configurations, each change has to happen with a set protocols. Don't breach any of them. Go through them systematically, analyze and put only those which are approved, and don't try to unnecessarily push through unapproved channels, or bypassing some of the authentications. And watertight third-party risk management is very critical. This is where most of you will be dealing with. When you are, some of you may be information security auditors as well. Third-party risk management is the most critical aspect that must be audited, kept alive and clean in any organization, right? And if you don't have a strong response or repair and return process, then again, you will have a problem. So you must have a strong incident response and incident management protocols, and a strong adherence and awareness. That's another big deal, right? So so we need governance to address all these challenges. So what is that? So let me talk a little bit about how cyber attacks happen. One of the most common things is your password break. We call it a brute force attack. You guess the password. There are millions of software that are available to break password. If you give your only letters, characters, you can break in 5 minutes, or maybe even 1.5 minutes, about 8 characters or less. And if you have your numbers and letters, characters, then it may take a little more time, 10 minutes maybe. If you use special characters and use more than 8 characters in them, right? Your special characters, numbers, and uppercase and lowercase, these 4, they will really take a good lot of time, maybe a few hours, maybe even 15-20 hours. But if you use your extended characters, 12 characters with special characters, capital letters, numbers, right? Upper characters, lower characters, and appropriate usage of thing, and it doesn't resemble a dictionary meaning. It may take 100-200 years, but very soon passwords are all going to be extinct. They will have various other means of authentication. Your phone could be an authenticator. Your personal email could be an authenticator. So it will replace. So the zero trust is coming in, where earlier today, if you log into your VPN, you are in there as good as in their data center. But today, even after logging in, after you perform each of those activities that you're performing, you are authenticated. That's what is zero trust. That's what is going to go and rule the world, right, in the next couple of years. But for now, we are highly dependent on passwords. So therefore, maintain the hygiene, create stronger passwords, and please don't share your passwords or put them on the browsers and store it for easy access. That's the first place hackers look for. Phishing. I think many of you would have even seen your banking, uh, you know, agents telling you what not to do with phishing, and how to save, safe. Clicking on link, um, you know, searching for some bank number on Google, and it gives you some other thing. The hackers know how to get that to your attention. None of that is going to save you, right? So phishing is another big thing. That's another way of, or another channel for committing cyber crimes. DDoS attack, distributed denial of service. One means you have certain places where I can log into, like say, for example, we have isaacindia.org. You have to log in there. You may be getting certain requests, right? So if 10 people log in, it'll be good. If 30 people log in, it'll be good. If there are 300 people logging in, it may be good. But if 30,000 people log in, it may crash, right? So how do people make that? So many people pump up. It's not really the people, it is some bot. It is some machine that is automatically generating the requirement for authentication. It just keeps bombarding, and at some point it will break. When it breaks, you attack. That's what happens. That's distributed denial of service. Then you have your malware. I've spoken to you about it already. The malicious software that you install by accidentally, not knowing it, clicking on some unwanted link, opening some Word document, opening some exe file, or opening somebody's birthday greeting, which comes in, which is not, when it's not supervised by any antivirus. If it just pops on your laptop, you click on it while you are seeing it, that's the intended use. But what is the unintended use? That goes on in the background and starts downloading a malware. That's what happens. So malware can come through your Word documents, PPTs, any executable for that matter, right? And it also can come in through your USB and by clicking on wrong sites. So malware can be downloaded in hundreds of different ways. Man in the middle attack is, when two people are talking, there's someone who comes in between and listens to the whole conversation. That's the man in the middle attack. In this case, when you are connecting to an entity, somebody comes and siphons all the data across. Adware, advertisement. Uh, whenever you're seeing, whenever it's popping up, you click on that or you encourage that, then that may be introducing a malware too. So what happens is I block all my advertisements. So for that, they say you become a paid member. I would rather become a paid member, but I will not keep the ads on. That's how I use my YouTube or many other things. Finally, social engineering. This is the biggest of all, because they use all these 6 for their advantage, the black hats. But to make it faster and more effective, they engage with the human being who's operating in that environment, get a lot of information about him, about the organization, compromise him, and then take over. In many cases, they think the hacker was so generous to them. He gave 5 lakh rupees. Just give me one password. You are the IT administrator. Just give me one password of so and so, and he gave. The company doomed. Can we control security I'm sorry, this is a different thing. Sorry, this is what's pertinent to you. There are various levels of data controls that are there. The point of data usage, where your endpoint, your smartphone, your laptop, then it could be fetching from your application. There are something called API. This is the connectors for your software to be controlled remotely. Data could be stolen there. Point of data access, where the data is stored. It could be in a server in your data center. It could be on a cloud somewhere. It could be used by somebody else, right? In a sub office or a vendor's location, they have access. So all these are points of data access. Point of data storage. It could be on a storage in a cloud or a data center used by many other databases. So that could be another point of data compromise. point of data processing. Somebody is processing the data for you. You outsource it, and there is your outsource partner who is doing all this, and it could be breached from them. All this needs to be managed with regulations, policies, guidelines, and standards. You must have your incident management procedures. All that is called governance, and that is the policeman which safeguards your interest. So monitoring and vigilance, what they do, is part of the governance. Uh, what's beyond technology and security? There are lots of things in technology. There's system administration, network security, assessment, lots of things are there. And it's not just this. I mean, you don't have to learn all these things, but you have to understand that these are required, and you hire somebody to do this. But what's more important is the risk management. You do the audits, not just the audit. I see some of them doing audits, which is run through a checklist. You have a firewall? Great. You have a router? Great. Do you take care of them? He says yes. That's not audit. Get to the details of how that needs to be done. Firewall, what all you do as part of this? How do you manage this? Who is managing? How competent is he in managing this? When you get to those aspects, that will be the real audits. So hire professionals and don't try to always look for, oh no, I think I understand this, I can do this. You have to get to the real depths. Otherwise, your audits are not at all helpful. Let me quickly move on to how a security team looks like. This is your security operations. There'll be an architect, there'll be security analytics. They see what's happening in the world. There's threat hunting and intelligence, and threat vulnerability management. Then there is identity and access management. There has to be somebody who doing the forensics and investigations for you. Not necessarily that everybody has to have all these people. You can get this on hire, right? There is something called managed security provider. Managed security services provider is somebody who has all these resources. He can engage you on a need basis, and that is mandatory. You must have somebody to take care of your security posture. How will I know? I will know what I need, how much I need, when to hire somebody, when not to have those services, when to retire your controls, what additional controls or complementary controls are required. All that is decided by your security governance program. All right. So that's what it is. I will pause, throw the floor for any question and answers. You were talking about, Satish, you were talking about the crimes, right? See, this is what we have, right? The UPI fraud that you asked. Today, everybody would like to just go scan and pay. The person who's a vendor, right? If that guy is having a malicious intent, then they would probably just say, okay, scan this and you can pay me. While scanning, it can also introduce a malware to you. Or another malicious person puts a QR code replacing his QR code, and he may take all the money from there, right? So that's a big problem. That's one of the common problems in UPI. So payment links, when people send you, check whether it is coming from the right source, right email ID, double check it, not O replaced with a zero or I replaced with an inverted comma, right? All those things are not inverted comma. What is that? Exclamatory mark, right? So all those things that you must check, only then use the link, authenticate your QR code effectively, else it will be a problem, right? And other things like your, regular things like, somebody says you pay someone and they say, I'll give you the money back and you give me the OTP, I will transfer it back to you, and they'll steal more money. OTP is only for paying money, and it is to be done on your portal, not done on any other portal. Many people miss the point. And these guys are so smart, they con you and people get conned. They're experts at it. So that's how one can safeguard. I just covered the key aspects. I hope that gets you some thoughts around it. Right.
So, is there any questions now to specifically to what Sri Shankar has covered? Please invite everyone. I think your chat boxes are open. I'm not sure whether what you call speak access is there, but at least you can type in your questions in the Q&A or in the chat box, and then we can proceed further.
Yes, PKSS is there itself. We can just change
Okay.
the same. Yeah.
Great.
But because except for Shanta sir, I think no one has asked any questions. That's why I was wondering. Is there anyone who wants to ask a query in whatever has been covered or something?
Or at least we would like to listen to your voice. If you can just speak
Yes,
up.
other than Ajit and Shanta
ugly.
sir and Anup are the only people we heard.
Right.
We can just wait for questions. Yeah, again, Shanta.
But we have something more to continue also. We will continue. Yeah, Shanta sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, one of my clients, he got a message saying that the Electricity Board of Kerala has come out with a new software. And for the cost of the software, he was asked to pay 10 rupees. He paid 10 rupees in the Electricity Board software, and he got a message, a email from the Electricity Board saying that you received your 10 rupees. And by the time, some lakhs of rupees were taken from his account.
Wow. Not
About
heard of this.
nearly 2,30,000 or something was taken from his account. And I mean, this transactions actually happened in the Kerala State Electricity Board account. And this was submitted, this complaint was submitted to the chairman of the Electricity Board. And he in turn passed it on to the DGP of the Kerala Police. And so far, nothing has happened.
Wow, that's interesting. And see, it may not be authentic also, right? Because
no, and when subsequently, when he got the electricity bill, the 10 rupees was deducted from there. It was shown your bill is about 4,000 odd rupees, less 10 rupees paid, and he got the remaining bill.
Yep, can't rule out nexus in that case. But first of all, Electricity Board collecting 10 rupees from everybody, why couldn't they have added it into their own thing? And there should have been a, there is a miscellaneous charge, and they could have published in the newspaper when nothing came. And when there is a requirement for somebody to just ask money, right?
Yeah.
First thing that they see is, oh, it's only 10 rupees. What they don't realize is that somebody can trick them, right? And that person, where did he give the OTP for the 10 rupees transaction? He would have given it on some portal.
Yeah, he would have paid the money. Yeah, he paid it online.
He paid it online on what was claimed as Electricity Board. Now, that is a website which somebody has hijacked, or they have created only to trick people.
No, but then how could the 10 rupee be deducted from the actual bill when it came?
That could be a nexus. That could be a nexus where some of the operators can actually deduct 10 rupees to make it look genuine. Or when somebody audits, that's when they'll get to know how come this 10 rupees was deducted and why was it deducted. Something else may come out. So it may not be an Electricity Board sponsored crime, is what I'm trying to say. The crimesters are so smart that they find there's some loophole that exists on the electricity thing, right?
Yeah.
And they just put that up there. They put their malware. They use the portal and siphon off money this way. So is it really the Electricity Board that's done it? I mean, it is not definitely, I mean, being a governmental organization, that is not how they want to earn money.
No, but this was said to be.
They would like to give you power and to take money. But somebody has been, sorry?
No, this was when they contacted the police, they said this was done by somebody sitting in Jharkhand.
Okay, could be. But that's not good enough, right? I think they must go further in and say, whoever has raised the complaint, they must give, they must put that up. They must really go further. And this is where we have a program called CCIO, and of course, Wing Commander Venu will cover that in depth.
Sri,
So-
yeah, actually, Naidu sir has also come in. So I will be introducing him now. Yeah, he just managed to log in.
Yeah.
So shall I hand it also? Can you, if you, I'll request you to go to the slides only, because he will be given speaker access and video access also.
Okay.
So
So
Ajit and the people who are here, we have our director on board. He's Group Captain Naidu, retired, who was my senior in the Air Force also, and he's one of the directors for ISAC. So he will be speaking more on the other aspects. Actually, you'll have to share the screen for the slides, of course.
Sure, will do.
And continue the slides, and he will speak now, I think. So he has had illustrious career in the Air Force. After that, and he's been with ISAC for the last 5 to 6 years, and director plus of many of the programs. He's CEO also of a new formation which we formed called the Cyberverse, which is a partnership with the Karnataka government, the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, and the Mysore Maharajas Foundation. So Naidu sir, your stage is yours. We have Ajit is the chairman, whose picture, whose video you can see. Other members are there, and we have about 30 plus members as of now. It's like the Indian cricket team who always, we reached 47, but we couldn't hit the 50. And people are getting out in their late 30s and 40s. Naidu sir, you can unmute and start.
Yeah. Can you all hear me? Good evening.
Yeah,
Yes,
good
sir,
evening.
we can hear you, sir.
Thank you very much, first of all, Ajit sir, and also, it's very, we are very happy that the Chartered Accountants body has decided that we must have a webinar on this particular topic, because as I was seeing what Sri has covered, most of you will agree, and the silence and the lack of questions also, I felt that yes, all of you have definitely got what the message is and what is there in common for all of us. So that way, I think we are on the same page. So that thank you very much for that. We have had a couple of chartered accountants who have done our governance programs, our basics in information security program they have done. And the feedback that we have received is phenomenal. In fact, younger chartered accountants are very adept at taking on the technology. They actually take the bull by the horn because they have grown up with the technology. Maybe the older versions like me, the senior lot, maybe it will be a little, we don't want to get into that side. That's what we feel. Because there are youngsters who are going to do that job for us. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know chartered accountants they have taken the lead in adopting the technologies because, of course, the IT Act, some of the provisions when it brought in facilitating e-commerce, the electronic bookkeeping is one of that which has been added in that when Amendment Act came. It got strengthened in 2008, and now, of course, we are having a lot of things online because of Corona. Everything is online now. The DSCs and the e-signatures and e-documentation. We know paperless IT returns and all these things have only strengthened. GST, of course, has taken it to the altogether next level. And chartered accountants are playing important role, even in case of the corporate law matters and all that. So I think that way there is a lot that we together can understand and see how these things that are very essential and urgent now can be taken to the larger body of the professionals here, chartered accountants. That's we must on behalf of ISAC, I place my gratitude to you and all of you for taking this initiative. So that's one thing that I wanted to say. And what Sri was talking about, am I audible or I'm just speaking to myself?
You are audible, sir. You are audible.
Thank you very much. What Sri was saying about the the cybercrime intervention officer program, that
Three, which were the
case.
courses? Next
Yeah,
slide.
just 1 second. 1 second.
Okay, okay.
What the matter, the case where we were discussing about the electricity body and 10 rupees being paid. Trust me, this is not uncommon. When a threat actor or a criminal, let us say, he is a threat actor because he has not been found to be booked, so he is not a criminal as yet, but he has committed crime, we know. So these threat actors, when they take control of the by the way, Kerala government, many of the websites are vulnerable. They have serious vulnerabilities. Okay, so what the ADGP has mentioned, how it happens, I'll explain to you. When the threat actors get control of your, say for example, you are chartered accountant firm and you have a website and you have your own network. When the threat actor takes control of your network, he can send mails from any of your people. He can send mails from any mail ID. And when he has control, there is a network that works. It's not individuals. I do not know if any one of you, Sri has had experience of, interviewing the people from the Jamtara gang. So he will tell you more, because we thought he was going for a little, naturopathy treatment in Coimbatore. And then we realized that he was staying with Jamtara gang, some guys there. So Sri Shankar, the speaker today, he had that opportunity. But we know, because personally, I have gone and visited a couple of them in Delhi, very swanky offices, very intelligent kids, may not be very highly educated, but they are all very intelligent kids. If they had good education and right kind of monitoring, they would have created many unicorns actually. But they have unicorn like structures. They have unicorn like office spaces. I have visited one in Noida and one in Daryaganj, only to be later realizing that they were actually cybercrime hubs. I was in the impression that it was one of the finest, software companies. They did like that only. One was introduced to me as I am running a call center, and very busy people, that kind of thing. I have visited in Daryaganj. That office, swanky office, fantastic technologies, latest gadgets, and the arrangements, the coffee vending machines and the works. I could believe myself that in Daryaganj you could have had an office like that, because in Daryaganj in Delhi, when you go into those lanes and by lanes, it's very difficult to walk across. And once I was inside, I was taken to a different world altogether. That is the kind of people who are operating this. Once they take control of the network, like in this case, the Kerala Electricity Board, from any mail ID, they can send mails. And also, okay, deduction of the 10 rupees. Authenticity has to be added, no? Otherwise, how will people believe that? So authenticity added. Ola, I'll tell you how the crimes have happened. Uber, how the crimes have happened. I do not know how many of you have the postpaid accounts in Ola or Uber. If you have postpaid accounts, you may have limits, say, for example, depending on your utilization. If you have a limit of, say, 10,000 rupees, when your account has gone up to about 7,000-8,000 rupees, you will receive an SMS saying your account is due for an amount of 7,822. Actually, your due is 7,822 only. You may like to pay in advance rather than waiting for the last day. Obviously, he is reminding you so that you don't have to pay. Otherwise, Ola has a very good habit of charging 75 rupees per day for any every day's delay in payment. Simple. Even if you have to pay 1 rupee, the charge is 75 rupees. They charge 75 rupees as fine. So you want to avoid fine. You want to pay 7,822 rupees that moment. You pay that 7,822 rupees only to give all your credentials to them. Suddenly, whatever amount is there in the back account, it is gone. Now, how do they do it? They hack into the systems, get the details as to what are the accounts that are there, and they constantly monitor. It's not that it's a one-off activity. It's a business for them. They have access. They use that intelligence, that inputs. So that's how the electricity board thing. We have had the water meter thing also at one place that has happened. So it's not a very uncommon kind of a attack format. It's happening. Now, what can we do in that case? Like Sri said, why will they ask you for 10 rupees? The government is, even if it is government is poor, like some of the state governments are very poor today. They are worse than Sri Lanka. Some state governments are worse than the economy of Sri Lanka and many other countries. But even then, why will they ask you for infrastructure? It would have come in the newspapers. I am seeking support from you and things like that. They won't just send a email saying that I need 10 rupees from you because I'm changing the software. And that software thing would have been in the news for some time. So we need to be careful. Now that comes to what Sri Shankar was mentioning about, the CCIO, the Cyber Crime Intervention Officer Program. About the ISAC, I think this slide is there. You can see this slide. This is what we do. We have been in a business for about 11 years now. We have basically we have been formed after the Mumbai attack to support the government agencies. When I say the word agencies, just understand that's the intelligence agencies and the NTRO and the Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Defense and things like that. And we have also got a huge collaboration with All India Council for Technical Education, which is a regulator for technical education in India, where we have been identified as the company to build capacity in cybersecurity. In that, we establish centers of excellence. We conduct faculty development programs. We curate, create, and give the content for postgraduate, graduate, undergraduate, of course, and the short-term, long-term, and very short-term certifications also, PG diplomas we can curate and create. If someone has already got a training program, they need hands-on training. That is one of our strengths. ISAC believes in any training to be hands-on training. Without hands-on, there is no skill that is achieved. So hands-on training is given, and we have our own labs, which are very unique. In India, we are one of the only company which has our own labs known as Cyber Range Labs. So that's all we do, and AICT expects us to do that as per the public-private partnership that we have with Ministry of Education. So one of the training courses that is there, when we went to the chairman AICT, he said, I want something for everyone, anyone who handles internet, anyone who handles cell phone, anyone who dabbles into the laptop, give me some course which is there. So then we said, we have something, but it's not a job oriented program. He said, no, I want something which will ensure that they don't lose their job. Simple. So I said, we have, please take a look at it. So we have created that kind of a program, and it is there. So ISAC has been in this business for 11 years. What we do is, for us, cybersecurity comes with professional ethics. Human being, Sri would have told you, the technology, people and processes are the triad, and out of that, of course, the people are the most important aspect. And as chartered accountants, you would have realized when you audit the companies that it's the either greed or neglect or casual attitude of the individuals that causes losses to the companies. And how do we address that? That's what we have in mind. And all our programs they come with an added support from the professional ethics at workplace rating platform that is given as a joint initiative between ISAC and AICTE. Our vision is simply to create platforms and networks to make sure that there is a bringing together of diverse people is available. We do a lot of things by bringing people together, and there are volunteers who help us in making a difference in the cyberspace across India. When we train a cybersecurity professional, we are not looking at giving him a job. Our objective is national security. Now, how does it relate? You can ask, what is there? You train one person, a cybersecurity professional, how is the national security involved in it? If I train and certify someone as a cybersecurity professional with X skill sets or in X subdomain, and he goes and works, say, for example, I give someone to TCS. He goes and works there. And TCS is giving this person outsourcing to Ministry of Defense. For example, the visa and the passport sections of the government of India are managed by the TCS. Now he is directly involving himself in national security directly. if there is a problem there, obviously, I'll tell you a simple thing. I'll tell you. Recently, the American embassy has lodged FIRs against 75 students. 75 postgraduate students who have gone from India. They have lodged an FIR saying that they have caused threat to the national security. And what have they done? They forged their documents. When I say forged their documents, they have just given false experience certificate and false internship certificates. And some of them have been jailed by the US embassy, US government. And they want to lodge these complaints, 8,500 or something they have identified. They want to book all of them and take them to US and try them. Can you just imagine what kind of impact? Recently, the National Security Advisor spoke in Srinagar, Mr. Ajit Doval, you are all aware because he is Kerala cadre IPS officer. He went and spoke in Srinagar saying that any breach in cybersecurity at the lowest level, in the individual level, network level, or the government level, any level, the breach is directly linked to the national security or indirectly linked, if not directly. That is the kind of impact that is having. We had breach in one of our nuclear power plants, premier nuclear power plants, caused by individual email ID being breached. We had MeitY, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, NIC computers, 100 of them losing data because of breach in the email ID of a private company employee in Bangalore. And that breach happened in MeitY in Delhi. Through the breach of this individual's email ID, they have sent packets to NIC computers, 100 of them lost data. We had ISRO leakage. Fortunately, in all the cases, the resilience has been good. The immediate response has been good. People have taken immediate actions, and that's how we got saved. That otherwise, the outcomes could be very, very calamitous. So that way, what we want is people to come together. We provide a platform so that there is a change that is made, difference that is made in cyberspace. Next slide, Sri, if you can. Okay, we have this platform which we manage. We manage it, of course, it was started by government, by the Prime Minister's Office, NTRO, and we have been managing it for the last 11 years. It empanels the cybersecurity professionals with varying degree of proficiency levels and different domains, different subdomains, right from the lowest level to the highest level. We have training programs which are empaneled in the National Security Database. We have a huge database. Many of them volunteer to give something known as Cyber Seva. They just offer free of service or free of cost also, they offer service. And they are all the networks that we have. They are the strength. Whenever there is a requirement to help any police or help any government department, they are all there. They come forward. Next slide, please, Sri. Okay, these are the affiliations we have. We have done a lot of things with MOD, Ministry of Education. We have a PPP, AICTE. We have a huge MOU. I have just mentioned about it. Then we have with CERT-In, we have an MOU where we do a lot of things, including Defend the Flag. We have an event that is conducted, and we have our scholar program, which is they are the knowledge partner. The Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, we have a huge MOU wherein they have created rather in cybersecurity hub, clusters, and spoke model. Under Beyond Bangalore project, they have created cybersecurity hub in Mysuru as technology partner, as training partner, and as knowledge partner. ISAC has established that center of excellence. We would request, it's very close by. We would request, of course, I cannot say it is very scenic because Kerala is more scenic than, but for the floods these days, it's more scenic probably, but it's hardly any distance. Some of you who are in Mysuru can come and visit this facility. Fantastic facility the Karnataka government has created with their support, and it's there in Mysuru. We have 6 clusters, one each for each sector, like banking and finance, insurance sector we have in Mangaluru. Manipal Academy of Higher Education has come forward to set it up there. Then we have one in Hubli Dharwad, that is for the AI and agriculture technology. In Belgaum, we are creating for the manufacturing sector. In Bangalore, of course, IT and IT-enabled services sector. Sector-specific clusters are being created, and those clusters will have the educational institutions as spokes. They will take trainings, and the companies will have as spokes. They will receive the services, receive the people, and give jobs to these people. That is how the Karnataka government has modeled the whole process, And this is a huge collaboration that we are very happy about, and we have delivered on what we were to deliver. And we also have with the Indonesian government, we have created a huge center of excellence for their national cyber and crypto agency, BSSN in Jakarta. We delivered this during the corona, well before the time, and they were very happy. They are very happy with that. Next slide, please, Sri. Okay, so now these are the levels and different, activities that we undertake. Okay, for aviation sector, we have a separate collaboration with the GMR Aviation Academy, and we are also in the process of signing up with some more academies in aviation sector. We are doing a lot of research in aviation cybersecurity because it's something which is neglected across the world. Now, the supporting environment that we are creating is what CCIO is about, what Sri Shankar was mentioning, the Cybercrime Intervention Officer program. That is where we am I audible?
Yeah.
So that is where we make impact. We have 650 volunteers who have been trained by us as cybercrime first responders. They can give you the first aid. When there is a cybercrime, a victim needs first aid. The first aid is given immediately by these people. It also trains an individual to protect himself first and then protect the immediate neighbors, friends, relations, and all that. That's exactly what it is. That's what it is. That is where we come from, where we enable our own people to be trained. Just 1 second. Sorry, I had a bell ringing. So this enables one to help the immediate neighbors, more importantly, protect children if there are any crimes, protect the school environment, protect the office environment. What happens is when any cyber attack happens, there is a shock. Many times we are not in a position to take actions very cohesively because of the panic. When money is lost, hard-earned money, it causes a lot of problems in us. There is absolute shock. So we may not be able to take the steps correctly. So that's where this training helps. And it also has one particular session for joyful parenting, for parents to be able to handle children who are getting addicted to the technology and the gadgets, Gizmos that we see people getting hooked on. And also, like we have one session on the elementary cyber laws, where everyone should know what they should and should not do. We also have basics of cyber psychology, so that if there are issues, it can be addressed. Then we have sessions on the video gaming addiction, the technology addictions. There are cyber bullying, the online cyber crimes that are happening. So many. Kerala has seen all kinds of cyber crimes online because intelligent people, when intelligent people are not diverting and focusing their attention on the positive side, they will do negative side. So wherever we want to find an example of cyber crime, you can go to Kerala. I'm not being negative here, not generalizing, but that is how the technology is being misused. And we have this training which enables people with this kind of knowledge and skill. That's the training that we give. That's a 16-hour program, very useful program. AICTE approved. AICTE has approved it for being given to anyone above 18 years of age. 18 years of age because these people will have to help someone else. Other programs which are in technical nature, they are available for anyone about 12-13 years also. But this particular program is available only after 18 years of age. Basic elementary knowledge of handling internet is what is required. For chartered accountants, it will be very useful. Of course, as parents, you will realize that it's of immense help in handling situations pertaining to our children, our near and dear ones. Then we have, of course, the technical training programs. Then we have the techno-managerial training programs, what Sri Shankar was saying, governance program, the risk mitigation and compliance program. Then we have the data protection officers program. In fact, on 15th of August, we have the global head of TCS for data privacy speaking on data privacy and data protection. There is a webinar. I will request all of you to join in case if it's possible at 12 o'clock on 15th August. And then we have a program on data protection where it's a 32-hour program, very useful program. It will be very useful for you all because some of you will be dealing with data protection matters and audits for that. Then, of course, the highest level is the National Cybersecurity Scholar Program, NSD Certified Cybersecurity Scholar Program. Sri Shankar is one of the scholars. It's the highest level program. By the way, this program has participants at the highest level. The Prime Minister's Chief Cybersecurity Advisor is one of the participants. He has undergone this program some time back. The present Director General of NCIIPC has undergone this program. The Computer Emergency Response Team, most of the directors, senior directors, joint secretary level officers have undergone this program. They are the knowledge partners also for the next program. In fact, next program, the admissions are open now. The senior people who are interested, of course, minimum 7 years of experience is required and should have done some work in cybersecurity or audits. Then you are eligible to undergo this program. This is a very useful program that is there. And on the other side, how we use this network of people to make differences, there are some social impact programs that we have. The social impact programs are like COP Connect. There is one program known as COP Connect, and there is a company also we have. It's a social impact company. No commercial activity is undertaken there. What it does is it brings police and victims to be able to resolve the issues very easily. With the help of this COP Connect Cafe, there are cafes set up at different locations. Anywhere anyone can come forward in their own office or in the schools, in the colleges, in the institutes, they can create a small cubicle as a cafe. Minimum requirement is there, basic infrastructure is required, nothing much to be done. But what it does is it has one cybercrime first responder, at least one, attached to the cafe. Then we have a cyber psychologist attached to the cafe. We have one cyber lawyer attached to the cafe. We have 1 or 2 forensicators attached to the cafe. So whenever there is a cyber crime that is happening and it is reported to the police, instead of victim going to the police station, you know how difficult it is to go to the police station, how stigma is attached to it, how traumatic it can be to go to police station. I have advised some companies where all the employees of the company were going to the police station for 15 days because the IO was not free to spare time for this particular case, because when he is in, say, a police station, he has so many pressures, he has so many priorities. So here is a case where the police officer will come to this cafe and complete the investigation in maybe 45 minutes, 1 or 2 hours at a stretch without any distractions. And he will be in CVs, not in uniform. So there is no the feeling that I am being investigated by the police. Then the victims, especially if it's girls or women, they can take their guardians or friends along, or cyber lawyer can come and help, or a cyber psychologist can come if there is a trauma attached to it. If there is, especially in cyberbullying and online cyber crimes, it's very difficult for the women to open up in Indian society. We know how it is, and in some communities it's even worse. So they will be able to get help from these people. So COP Connect cafes are being established at different locations. Karnataka Digital Economy Mission has taken up this initiative as their own initiative, and now, of course, we are launching across India. We have 1,650 volunteers who have come forward to undertake this activity. All this is topped up with professional ethics at workplace training, certification, insurance. Now, how does it work? When we went to AICTE to give, when they called us to give a presentation on capacity building in cybersecurity, one question the chairman asked is, how do you prevent these people from committing crimes against us? You are training them to be hackers. So we said, first of all, we don't use hacking. The word is a little negative connotation it has got. In some activities, they are bug bounty researchers, some activities, they are pen testers, So what we do is we had a process for 10 years and which now AICTE has adopted it. It has given to all the students. Now, as a result of it, if any person is asking for internship in AICTE has an internship portal. 1 crore interns they give. Out of that, about 40-50% of internships are paid internships. Some of them are paid up to 60,000 rupees per month. Each district collector is authorized to give 8 internships through AICTE every time, anytime, at any given time. So that kind of network they have for internships. If anyone is applying for internship, the first question that is asked is, are you trained in professional ethics at workplace? If not, it leads an individual to our platform known as Clean Exit, because that is a joint initiative between AICTE and ISAC. So professional ethics is mandatorily given to everyone. The processes are very simple. In fact, chartered accountant offices can actually benefit immensely by going through this process. I know there is ethics that is taught in this chartered accountancy, but this is slightly different. Now, what we do is we initiate them into the thinking of how to resist the conflict of interest, how to overcome these lures and attractions, and how to fight the tendency to be on the wrong side of the law, the sexual offenses, posh matters, all these things are covered over a period of 7 hours. And then there is a other element of it, accountability. If both are taken, it's about 16 hours of program. It is 1 credit as per UGC norm. Now, what it does is it trains the people in professional ethics. It certifies in professional ethics, AICTE approved certification. Then there is a fidelity guarantee. That means if I am hired by Ajit sir and he gives me a laptop to work because he is a chartered accountant, I need to have laptop. I get all the data, and one day I go to Venu's company and join him, walk away with the laptop given by Ajit sir. When Ajit sir, someone calls me up and asks, where is the laptop? He says, I am used to it and I've got used to it. I've got my personal data on it. I won't return. Go ahead, do whatever you want. Ajit sir is busy doing his own business and practice. Will he have time to chase me to get this laptop? No. Will he ask his lawyer friend to give a legal notice? No. Will he lodge a police complaint although he knows the SI? No. He will just say, it's okay, yeah, now let's move on. But just imagine if a startup, it happens, the startup sinks. First, the data is gone. Second, the laptop cost is gone. So here is where there is an insurance available against my misdeeds with Ajit sir. New India Assurance is the company. Earlier we had with Oriental Insurance, now it is with New India Assurance, wherein my misdeeds can be insured against between 1 lakh to 5 lakhs. Of course, if some risk is expected at more higher levels, it is available till 5 crores also. But for every lakh rupees, 100 rupees is the premium per year, per individual. So if there are 10 people working, 10 into 100 rupees is 1,000 rupees for the company, peanuts. But what you are doing is you are assuring yourself and also telling that guy, look, I have taken insurance on your good conduct. If you don't behave properly, it will be nasty for you. So it is possible that you may not be able to find a job elsewhere if you misbehave, because the the Clean Exit platform has a process of rating, not only training, certification, insurance, fidelity guarantee, but rating. It's two-way rating. You can rate him, he can rate you. Two-way rating is there. So these processes are there. These processes help individuals be professionally ethical at workplaces. That is the objective. Creating ethical workforce is what is the objective of AICTE, and we have taken this process forward, and this is the company which gives. So anyone who is trained in ISAC or certified by ISAC mandatorily has to go through the professional ethics at workplace training certification. Mandate, because that's essential. UN says unless you achieve professional ethics at workplace, you cannot achieve cybersecurity. And cybersecurity can be achieved only by community coming together. That's what exactly we are trying to do. Sri, can you please change the slide? Can you please change the slide, Sri? Please move the slide. Sri, hello.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. See, I'm not sure where it is. I just messaged him, sir. The next,
Next slide, please.
Shall I share?
Yeah, if you have, please share quickly.
I'll have excellent share.
But otherwise, I think we have come to an end because we don't
Yeah,
want
it's
to
the
take too
last
much.
slide on the side anyway. Yes.
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
to the end.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got it, sir. I'm just showing the slide.
Thank you very much.
Can you see it, sir?
Yeah, I can. I just make it into
slideshow. Yeah.
presentation mode, slideshow. Yeah. Okay. These are the streams, but for the chartered accountants, at least, I would suggest those of the younger chartered accountants can go through the first two programs, which is Cybercrime Intervention First Responder Program and the Professional Ethics at Workplace is mandatory, I told you. And anyone who has a little 12th class is what is required. 12th class. Most of you have done mathematics, not most. Why? Everyone has to do mathematics in chartered accountancy. Or company secretaryship. Mathematics is a must. So the basics in information security, basic information is available on all the information security aspects. What is cyber security? What is information security? What is a vertical? How the functions, the roles, what do they do? If there is an incident, how do you respond immediately? When you go for audit, if you have this particular information and knowledge and skills, your audit will be that much more stronger. Instead of ticking the boxes that are given on a particular sheet by someone technical to you, you are not ticking, you are checking now. That will give you an authenticity and confidence to ask a couple of questions. Okay, you are saying firewalls. What if firewalls are not working? How do you prevent? So that kind of a questioning will happen from you if you have gone through this basics in information security. After this, of course, those of you who are very keen, and there are many technical people in chartered accountants, they can go for forensics course if you want, digital forensics. Otherwise, the governance program, governance, risk mitigation, and the compliance program. Fantastic, useful program, not very technical. In fact, it's a techno managerial program. All chartered accountants can easily, understand, assimilate, take away a lot of takeaways from this program. And of course, the highest level program is the scholar program. I request some of you at least to join and see how all your work also is directly related to the national security. If your audits are not strict, what is going to happen is either it will lead to, not because you have contributed, it will lead, you are ticking because you are asking the engineer, okay, do you have firewall? Yes, tick. Do you have this? Yes, tick. Have you changed the password every 6 months? Yes, tick. But if you are able to check whether he has done it or not, that is where the Cisco type of attacks can be prevented. That is where you have contributed to the national security. How these micro level incidents can lead to macro level problems, you will be able to understand, and you will be able to save many companies from just collapsing. Lincoln College in US has closed because of the cyber attack. One of the oldest colleges in US has closed because of cyber attack. Can you believe it? Many airlines have closed because of cyber attack. Sri has just spoken about the solar winds. How many companies have gone out into thin air? They just vanished. The supply chain attack on this one, US supply chain management. So many companies have just got bust. They've gone off the radar. Now that you can prevent. That's what your contribution to the national security will be. India is aspiring to be a huge, financial prowess. And if we have to do that, if prime ministers desire to have this much of, the digital economy to contribute to our GDP, you are all very essential pillars of that. Chartered accountants, by all means. And if you are having these tools, this knowledge, and these skills to check, nothing like it, because everyone is going technical. Every company, in fact, the company which otherwise used to have only lathe machines, even they are going technical, and the CEO wants a dashboard that's being breached. When you go for audit, you will see for yourself how they are performing as far as these controls are concerned, these processes are concerned, and these people are performing. So this is our humble request. If you can just see CCIO, CPW, it is for 12th standard students. 12th standard pass people. The basics in information security, again, 12th standard level. And forensics, those of you who are interested, it's a common sense subject. It's all about situational awareness. It's all about putting 2 + 2 together and making it 222 sometimes. That's what it is about. Digital forensics is about common sense, putting together, and most of the times it's open source intelligence that is used there. Nothing, no great technologies are required to be deployed there. And then of course the governance program is techno managerial program, easily you can all follow. Then scholar program, for some of you seniors at least, we would request if 3-4 of you can come, your chapter will get that much enriched. That I assure you. That's all I have as far as these training programs are concerned. Anything more, Venu? No, thank you very much. We are open to question and answers. Sri Shankar is there, I am there, Venu is there. Ajit sir, thank you very much once again for the whole chapter there. And we hope, and genuinely, we hope that this session has been of some use to you all.
So, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for all this. If there are any specific questions, maybe you can take on. Satish, is there something? I think you're about to ask something, Mr. Satish?
No.
Nothing. Okay. So I've just put a link on the chat box, which I'll share with Sumesh also. You can spread it amongst it. So what we are offering is for next 3 days, the courses which have been outlined, we're giving a 30% off on all these courses.
Till 15th of August.
15th, right? Yes, 3 days, the next 3 days.
So Independence Day offer.
Yes.
That's
So
great.
if you can pick that link
Yes.
and you can share it, Sumesh can share it also to all the other participants. This video recording is of course available to you. You can again share it to people who couldn't attend the session. So it will at least give them an idea of what went around in today's thing. If there are no questions, then I think we'll close the session. We already exceeded by about 10 minutes. Ajit is aware, all of them are busy people, sir.
Yeah.
I lined up meetings. So firstly, I would like to thank Sri for this wonderful inputs, and Naidu sir also for pitching in and giving the intricate details on the programs which we do. And of course, finally, to the team at Thrissur, the ICAI. So Ajit, in fact, mentioned it to me, and then we said we should take it forward. Thank you all for being part of this. And I hope with your involvement, we can spread the message across further up to the other chartered accountants across, maybe the CMAs and everyone. And of course, the managements, people who are the top helm of TFS. That is where we will be able to take cybersecurity forward or cyber awareness forward. Thank you very much once again. Your floor, Ajit.
Yeah, thank you. So before moving into the formal vote of thanks by Satish, I will just like to tell that as Venu sir was telling that in fact we had that Indian cricket team, he was mentioning that something 47 and the number went down, but I should tell you that we had been batting 13 not out till the last ball. So the number of participants has come in a bit. But one more thing is this after 15 days, this program will be updated in our YouTube channel, in Thrissur Institute's YouTube channel, which have almost 2,500 subscribers, and definitely those who have missed out will be watching the same there. So in fact, I have been observing this the wonderful information that you have been the NGO has been giving us, and in fact, I must tell you that as chartered accountants, a simple thing that we do find out is last time, almost 2 years back, there are lots of spamming messages coming out. In fact, in which your income tax refund has failed, and you just need to go into a website and give your banking details and all the details, and the whole of your banking balance is gone just of a sudden. So there are lots of such instances, and definitely as chartered accountants, the first call that our clients when they face a financial issue, this a sort of scamming of a financial scam or something, most of the calls will end up in our offices first. So definitely your 2-3 programs that I did find was that cybercrime lawyer and that's basis of information security, which we should, as chartered accountants, as finance professionals, we should definitely learn into, because most of these clients will not be having that much of an access to this high-level cyber security policies or cyber cells and things like that. So that's a huge amount of information that you had conveyed today, and definitely one more thing that did interest me was that you had thrown out a chart in which the sector in which the cyber security threats are more, and I did find that professional and scientific sources is fifth in the same, and we do come under this professional thing. So we all should be aware about the same, and thanks for the wonderful information. Kudos to the ISAC team. And for a formal vote of thanks, I do call upon my secretary Satish TG. Satish, you're on.
Before that, if you permit me to just say two sentences. Ajit, you know what? Chartered accountants, unfortunately, are the most preferred targets today. And in Delhi, we know many chartered accountant offices maintaining 2 to 3 websites. Because if one website is taken down or attacked, at least the data is available in the other. And we have recordings of criminals saying we prefer chartered accountants because chartered accountants also advise many people, especially in Delhi, on how to manage the other money also. I mean, this to this extent, brazenly they say police and chartered accountants are the two preferred targets for this one. Police, they say they will never report because they themselves can't report anywhere. And chartered accountant, they say because they manage a lot of things. So
Yes.
I mean, this is what they have gone on record. So yes, you are definitely there as their targets. The best thing is to arm ourselves to be equipped. That's all. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. So over to you, Satish.
Good evening. I was recollecting an event back in 2014. I remember we had an ransomware attack in our office. They're asking for some ransom in Bitcoin. So definitely we didn't pay it. We formatted our system and restored our backup. So what you are saying is right. We are very soft target. And as you rightly said, we got the message of what ISAC is trying to explain. We are more than happy to have with us to explain what is needed from the part of chartered accountants in cyber security. I especially thank Mr. Sri Shankar and Mr. Venugopal and Mr. Naidu, the whole ISAC team for the time spent with us. I also thank our Anu Francis for the warm introduction of the faculties, and thank you.
Thank you all. It's been wonderful. And we look forward, whether you join the programs or not, we look forward to interacting with you all. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Bye.